Blessings that fall from the sky often come with unexpected disasters. Xiao Lei's quotations. After eating Lin Shanshan's 2,000 yuan breakfast, Xiao Lei ran downstairs grumpily to open the shop, still chewing on half a sesame pancake. Well, Uncle Wu Daozi's fortune-telling scam shop was right downstairs in a street-facing storefront. A half-peeled rotten wooden board above it read, bronze-mouthed, iron-toothed divine fortune teller, accompanied by a Taiji 5 elements Bagua symbol. The tiny shop was no more than 20 square meters, but was deliberately divided into inner and outer rooms. As that charlatan Uncle Wu Daozi put it, the outer room was for ordinary customers, neighborhood Annies, vegetable vendors, and the like. As for the inner room, that was no simple matter. It was their bread and butter, a VIP zone specifically designed to fleece the wealthy, or, as commonly known, the fat sheep slaughterhouse. After all, distinguished guests naturally disliked mingling with common folk. Having a separate space made them feel valued and, more importantly, made it easier to empty their pockets. Moreover, the VIP room was meticulously decorated. The couplet on the wall, according to Wu Daozi, was an authentic work by Nailan Xingda from the Qing dynasty, though Xiao Lei suspected it was probably a few yuan bargain from a flea market. Then there were the items on the shelf. A feng shui compass, a set of soul-summoning Vajra bells, and a peachwood sword for exorcisms. Even more impressive was the incense altar enshrining their ancestral master's tablet. What's the big deal? These sacred tools were passed down by the ancestral master. Treasures. They weren't used on ordinary clients, only for big-spending VIPs after proper incense offerings to the master. So naturally, the price couldn't be low. Though we cultivators must be compassionate and serve the world, how could we disrespect the ancestral master by undervaluing his relics? In this day and age, even scamming requires good packaging. Sin, great ancestor Zhuge, your disciples' thoughts have strayed again. Xiao Lei sat behind the table, holding a copy of Zhuge's divine calculations. That was the secret manual of their sect. Anyway, that old charlatan Wu Daozi kept claiming to be a disciple passed down from Zhuge Liang, Zhuge Kongming, the sleeping dragon, and the inheritor of Zhuge's divine calculations. Whatever, these days, you need to wave a big banner to make your scam sound impressive. Call it brand effect. Xiao Lei's eyes were fixed on the book in his hands, but his mind was busy scheming how to recoup the lost 2,000 yuan. He had received 3 clients that morning. The first was a 30-year-old woman who came to ask about offspring. Sai, a 30-year-old woman still unable to conceive. Her family pressure must be immense. But if you can't have kids, shouldn't you go to the hospital for a checkup? Since when did our sect's great ancestor Zhuge share a department with the child-giving Guanyin Bodhisattva? Xiao Lei had her draw a fortune stick, which read, "Intent lies idle in leisure, awaiting the future. An old friend wanders afar, pacing in hesitation. News arrives by wild geese at sky's edge. A single plum blossom heralds spring's return." The meaning, all hopes may be fulfilled, but one must wait a while longer. After some smooth talk, he finally managed to send this poor woman on her way. The second client was a young man, barely older than Xiao Lei, who came to ask about marriage prospects. Sai, so young and not focused on building a career, rushing to ask about marriage. What's the hurry? Could be watching too much adult content at home, getting too worked up? If that's the case, we might be kindred spirits. Just wonder if he prefers the seductress type or the innocent style. Xiao Lei had him draw a fortune stick, which read, "Intent lies idle, trusting the future. An old friend wanders afar. News arrives by wild geese's feet. A plum blossom heralds spring's return." The meaning, all hopes may be fulfilled, but one must wait a while longer. With another round of smooth talk, he sent this lovesick young man on his way. As for the third one, this one gave Xiao Lei quite a headache. The third guest was a middle-aged man, neither tall nor slim, short and stout, with a ruddy complexion. Around his neck hung a thick pure gold chain, and his large hands bore 4 or 5 hefty gold rings. A wealthy man, a fat sheep delivered right to his doorstep. "Sir, are you seeking marriage fortunes or financial luck?" Xiao Lei perked up, mustering his most sincere smile, 12 parts earnestness. "Well," the man hesitated, eyeing the young Xiao Lei with skepticism. "Is Master Wu Daozi not home?" "Ah, my uncle is a transcendent master, traveling far and wide. Whatever you wish to divine, I can assist just as well." Xiao Lei carefully measured his words. "You..." The man's eyes brimmed with disbelief. "A young lad like you can divine too?" "Of course, it's a family legacy. I've already mastered 70% of my uncle's skills." Xiao Lei patted his chest, his eyes twinkling as he grinned. "How about this? If you don't believe me, I'll give you a free palm reading first, along with a few words of advice. Complimentary, of course. If what I say turns out to be accurate, we can discuss further. If not, you can walk away immediately. How does that sound?" The man hesitated for a moment, likely swayed by the phrase complimentary. Eventually, he sat down and extended his left hand. Xiao Lei squinted, pretending to study the hand carefully while inwardly cheering. "Great, great! What plump, meaty hand! The rings on those fingers must be 24K gold, probably weighing 3 to 5 ounces in total. What a fat sheep indeed!" After feigning deep thought for a while, shaking his head and stroking his chin, Xiao Lei cleared his throat and said solemnly, "It seems you've had some good financial luck recently, with a fair amount of small gains. Am I right?" The portly man's face immediately brightened with trust. Yes, absolutely right." Of course it's right. With that pudgy face, greasy aura, and all that gold and silver on you, you're the very picture of a nouveau riche. Clearly someone who's only recently come into wealth. And of course those gold rings look brand new, probably just bought. No doubt you've only struck it rich recently. Nouveau riche, haha. Now, judging by your facial features, alas, there's a shadow of misfortune and hostility over your life palace. You must have been facing some troubles lately." He finished with a probing glance at the man. Sure enough, the nouveau riche burst into laughter, gripping Xiao Lei's hand excitedly. "Spot on. Absolutely spot on. I've been dealing with some annoying issues recently." Xiao Lei kept a straight face, maintaining his dignified demeanor, though his stomach was nearly aching from suppressed laughter. "Of course you got troubles. If everything were fine, why on earth would you come to me for a fortune-telling session? No pain, no gain, or in this case, no gullible customer." Overwhelmed with emotion, the nouveau riche slammed 1,000 yuan on the table and exclaimed loudly, "Please, young master, enlighten me." Xiao Lei's face beamed with delight as he discreetly tucked the 1,000 yuan into his sleeve, thinking to himself, "Good heavens, just a palm reading earned me 1,000 yuan. This is indeed an incredibly plump cash cow." Suddenly, he flashed an extremely gentle smile. "Esteemed hero, today I shall risk depleting my spiritual energy to reveal heaven's secrets. Let me give you a full-body reading." The nouveau riche's confidence in Xiao Lei soared instantly, and Xiao Lei, pulling out all the stops, talked non-stop until the man was utterly dazed. In the end, the man tossed down 10,000 yuan before being allowed to escape. This plump cash cow now thoroughly fleeced. Just like that, in a single morning, Xiao Lei had pocketed over 10,000 yuan. It seemed fortune tellers still lived quite comfortably these days. Lost in these thoughts, he noticed the sun high overhead. It was already noon. Just as he was about to close up for lunch, he heard a screech. A black bullet-shaped business van sped over and screeched to a halt right in front of his shop. With a flurry of movement, 3 to 5 burly men jumped out. These men were all dressed in sharp black suits, towering and muscular, each sporting pitch-black sunglasses. They could easily pass for presidential bodyguards straight out of movie. Huh? Xiao Lei froze for a moment, quickly glancing at the day's schedule on his desk. There are no VIP appointments booked for today. In no time, the group barged into Xiao Lei's shop with such intimidating force that they nearly burst the tiny space at the seams. Forcing a smile, Xiaolei tentatively asked. Gentlemen, are you here for a fortune-telling session or a feng shui consultation?